Remember this well, there shall be no peace as long as Kirk lives. Welcome to the Science Fiction Rating System. I am not Sam Draper. I am Alex Humphrey, and I will be on hosting duties for this very special Star Trek 3 film episode, mainly because as the kind of non-Trekkie, I felt like I should sit back and let other people talk. But also, if I don't host, then I'm not going to speak, probably, is the way this is going to go.
You're like Ken Watanabe in Godzilla. You let them fight. That's your...
Yeah, that will be what I will be saying.
Yeah.
Get on with it. Get on with it, Trekkies, is what I'm saying. Yeah. But anyway, I am joined, obviously, by Sam Draper. How are you, Sam?
Hello. I'm good, thank you.
Good. Oh,
just cracking a beer.
Cracking a beer. Hearing it crack. Are you going to do the pour for us? Can we hear a pour?
You getting that?
No. Oh, tasty. And, obviously, Chris Redding. How are you, Chris?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Did we all enjoy this week?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good week. It was good watching 3 films in a row that all linked up, wasn't it?
I think if any 3 films are going to benefit from that way of doing it, it's these 3, isn't it?
Hell yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. Yes. So I guess, shall we move straight in to Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, 1982, directed by Nicholas Meyer, and written by a few people, who were uncredited, I read. So, some people doing clean-up duty, I would have believed. Who wants to go first? Chris will go first.
Yeah. You want me to go first?
Yeah, I would like you to go first. Go for it.
Well, I'll start off by saying this is actually one of my favourite films.
Okay. Of all time, or just science fiction, or just generally?
It's like in my top 10 for just films. Because I just think think it's a great film.
Yeah.
I like the way everything just ticks along slowly. There's no sass. It's not too quick. It's kind of all like submarine warfare. The script is very. It doesn't muck about. It sort of. It ticks along nicely, and I think this is the first time they actually get Star Trek to work on the big screen. So the first one didn't really work.
Yeah, I was going to say after watching the motion picture, this is completely different to that.
And actually, this provides like a blueprint for all of Star Trek, which we know, other than obviously the original series, which is completely different to everything which comes after this. So this is more similar, has more in common with the TV shows and everything we've seen since. Because they really nail particular things, and they work out how things work, and because they hadn't even figured out how warp drive works in the first one.
I guess actually no.
There's strange things were happening, and it was just contrary to what we know. So I mean, as a broad thought, I really like it. And also the music. James Horner. That is the best James Horner ever.
I agree with that. No, there's some good scoring in there. He does a good job. Like you say, it moves along really well, and that music kind of propels.
Oh, it's great. It's got like a real nice nautical feel about the music. It's like it's swashbuckling.
Watching them back to back, you really notice when you get to 4 that he's gone, don't you? The score is so compared to the 3 and 2. The score is so put to par. Yeah, definitely.
What's your overview then, Sam? What's your general thoughts on it?
I agree. It's a brilliant film. I wouldn't go as far as top 10 all time, but I would say it's in my top 3 Star Trek films. I really enjoyed it. I do agree that it all goes along at a nice pace. I think. I wouldn't call it slow, because I think it starts slow, but once they're out and they're gone and they're after Khan, it kind of... I get what you mean, how it is like... It's more relaxed, isn't it, I suppose, in a more modern film, but it's relentless. It just keeps... There's no time to stop and think, this is getting boring. And that's really like down to Khan, I think. The fact you've got a villain who is portrayed so well and so singularly obsessed with getting Kirk. And they really play that really well, I think.
He's a brilliant villain. For how ridiculous he looks, he is actually brilliant. Like
and his mates.
Yeah. Who I
Future
read
mullet.
were Chippendale dancers, the majority of them.
Oh,
I don't quite get how he is like aged from the original episode that he was in,
Yeah.
but all of his compadres are all
Totally.
like 20-year-olds.
Like, have they had kids or whatever? And if so, is he just killing the older generation or something? What's going on? It's a bit weird, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I wondered about that.
I like these little creatures that he puts in people's ears. I like.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man, that is the thing. When I was a kid, that absolutely terrified me.
Yeah.
I had nightmares for years about that, yeah.
It was, I have to say as well, that scene, the two scenes with them in, I remembered them crystal clear. I didn't
Yeah,
remember
me
the rest
too.
of the film, but those scenes, like, I was literally reliving. I was like, oh my God, it's in this. Oh God, that's absolutely horrible. So yeah, they stuck with me. So, you know, anyone listening to this who is a child or is going to show this to their child, be warned. Those ear things stick with you pretty much, don't they?
I've just one other thing to say. Sorry, that like as we're watching all three back to back, the thing that Star Trek 2 gets right, I think, is a relationship between Spock and Kirk, not Cock and Spurk.
They would call him, I guess they'd call him Cock, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
When they put the names together.
Yeah,
What's that called? Where it's like fan theories that there's like a gay relationship going on
not
with
slash. It's shipping.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Or slash. I think it is slash actually. Anyway, yeah, I think their relationship is good here, but I think that the weakness of the following two films is the fault of this film because they get so into the idea of Kirk and Spock, and that for me gets progressively more awful as we go on. I think it works really well here, and the ending, like the scene, obviously when it gets the glass, is iconic for a reason, isn't it? That is a fucking brilliant scene.
Yeah, I mean, spoilers. Spock dies. And he died, didn't he? Because he didn't really want to do any more films. Is that mainly wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, and it does. I do agree that him dying is a big gesture. It's a big thing, and it's pretty bold. And then bringing him back, which the other two films kind of deal with.
The thing is, though, I think it would be a bolder choice if you didn't then know that 3 and 4 are directed by Nimoy and 3's called Spock. Like, it's so clearly like a I'm only doing this if I'm the big deal sort of thing about Star Trek 2. You know, like, look at me, it's all about Spock. And that's I know that's a silly, like, out of universe sort of problem to have, but it just always rankles in me, that fact that, you know, he's so into the cult of himself in a way. It's never like that about Spock at all, to be honest. Or Kirk, for that matter.
No, there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of big egos, but there's the thing with the thing is there are a lot of big characters.
It must have been, isn't it?
Yeah. I think if there's one thing against Wrath of Khan, it's that you don't really get enough of Sulu and of Scotty and of Uhura. They're a bit by the side on this one, aren't they?
Definitely. I think they are in 3 as well.
Whereas,
really,
it's funny because they always. It's always about Shatner in these films, and not really anyone else gets a look in.
Well, Nimoy as well.
Nimoy. I think there was a bit of a tiff going on between him and what's his name plays Sulu.
George Takei.
Yeah. But I think he had tiffs with everyone at some point.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of like issues with him. They all wanted to direct one. So I think after Nimoy got his chance, I think Shatner was pushing for his chance, and I think that added some extra pressure onto things.
Well, Shatner only agreed to do 5 if he could direct it.
Yeah.
Which says a lot, doesn't it, about 5?
Well, also, I think with Voyage Home, I read he only really was like, he was pissed there wasn't a love interest, and that's why we're not talking about 5 yet. But I mean, that shows you they're kind of like the heavyweight they've got is that they start making demands, and then it's kind of has to be done, doesn't it?
And again, that's 2's like greatest strength, and it's failing. Like the fact that I mentioned it in the previous show that you've not heard, but people at home will have. Sorry about that again. But like, basically, 2 got made.
I won the quiz, by the way.
Yeah, Chris won the quiz. They kicked Roddenberry off basically, and 2 was made away from him, and they sort of reset it in this way on a smaller, much smaller budget than the first film, and were forced to go back to the characters, weren't they? In a way that in motion picture they weren't, and that's why 2 works. But then I think when you then introduce the money again, and the egos and more films. It's, you know what I mean? Like the genesis of the good and the bad of Star Trek are both so on show in Khan. Do you know what I mean? Like you've got both sides of the coin.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, at this point, they were a failure, weren't they? I mean, motion picture hadn't done well.
Although, do you know that motion picture's still the most successful Star Trek film?
How is that then?
Yeah, I don't understand that. I read about
just
this.
like cumulative money.
Well, even like box office, like it made more. I think it's not the
hype.
It's not the greatest return because I think that maybe 4 was made cheap or something, but it's the most successful, like highest gross of all the films, which is insane.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Maybe it was just off the back of how successful it was at that point as a
Star
thing.
Wars.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it being successful is why they do make a 2, even though no one liked 1, isn't it? Because they thought, well, there's got to be something there. People to come out for it. So yeah.
It's crazy. This is cheaper though because it looks a lot better.
Oh yeah.
And
definitely.
It moves a lot better. I mean, they didn't fill half the film with it just coming out of space dock.
Yeah, but also, you know, like nearly all the effect shots are either recycled or they're using the models from 1, aren't they? Like it's all the same stuff.
It doesn't
They're
look
using
it,
the
though.
same miniatures, but
I think there's actual shots recycled.
there might be, there might be some flybys.
Yeah.
But like, there's a lot of new techniques. That was the first CG shot of the Genesis.
Yeah. And it looks good, doesn't it? It's not too bad.
It still looks good. Yeah, it still looked really good.
Yeah.
That did. Yeah. Do you know? Do you know why? Who made that and what for?
No.
It's Industrial Light and Magic made that, and because of so they made that basically as like the first big thing is like a showreel thing, and then Steve Jobs saw it and was so impressed by it he bought that effects bit of ILM, and that's how Pixar started. So because of that sun blowing up, that's the birth of Pixar. That's why Pixar got bought off the separate entity because it's so impressive. Yeah.
They recycle that shot in the next one, I think, as well.
And 4, it's in both of them.
Yeah. There's more recycling to come in both the other two films, to be honest.
The whole sort of the battle sequence in this and the how that moves and the time, the pacing is great, and the way the music builds to the detonation. You know, when they're trying to get away from the Reliant before it explodes.
Oh yeah.
That build in the music there, and how they're only able to go away at like impulse speed and they're not going quick enough.
Yeah.
That is done brilliantly. That is the best.
No, I agree. I agree with that. I thought that scene really held up as a.
You've even got Shatner there, like wringing his eye, like he really looks worried. It is really good.
Yeah, I mean that in something else could have been a bit naff because you'd just be like, oh, it's a bit ridiculous. Why are you not? But they build it, like you say, they build it all up. The way everyone is a bit crippled, they're in that storm. You totally buy into it, and it is. It's almost like you said about the kind of naval thing. That's almost an ancient bit of warfare or an ancient fight in a completely modern science fiction film, which is quite a brave move.
Yeah,
to have it about tactics in the end.
There's a great making of on YouTube of how they made the Nebula stuff. Which is it's amazing. Like just huge like swimming pools of water and different like they put a salt layer in and they put different amounts of dye in it and then they light it so it flashes.
God.
It's wicked. Yeah, I mean it's like a real practical film. With the Reliant as well, it was supposed to be the other way up, and then it was sent to the director, and he read he looked at the plans upside down. And he signed it off.
Oh, so that's why it's
down.
got the 2 at the bottom.
Yes, and
like that.
That's why it's got 2, because it was supposed to be the other way around.
Oh God. Yeah, it looks really cool. I mean, I think we talked about Star Wars and all the design in Star Wars and stuff like that, but I think I personally, I'm sure you two didn't, I forgot there's a lot of good design within the Star Trek universe. There's a hell of a lot of good ships. Some uniforms, they've sorted out the uniforms by this point. They're not as naff as they were
these are 10 times better, aren't they? Like
they're still not great though. Those short trousers and they're
they're great. This is wicked. These uniforms.
I think they're much better.
Has Kirk got his little ruff in this one? That's the next one, isn't it? They put the bit of.
No, they've got ruffs in this.
Yeah, it's got the ruff in this one.
It's like a turtleneck.
Yeah, it's awful. I can't stand the look of it.
It's
I
great.
think for me,
I
the
liked
worst
it.
thing about it is how 70s it looks, because it just dates it so badly. Like everything that McCoy, Sulu, and Chekhov wear looks fucking awful in all of these films.
When they're wearing their own clothes, when they're in their own clothes, that's mad.
I mean, Bones, like, I don't know what on earth is that maybe his own choice something, but in all his films, he looks absolutely ridiculous, doesn't he? Like, he used to look quite cool in the old ones.
In the next one, we'll talk about that. But this, obviously because the Khan's got that mullet. That really, and he's got his chest out as well. That really kind of dates it a bit.
But they're supposed to be from the 80s, aren't they, or the 90s? That's when they were made. So
1996.
You could kind of rule them out as like, oh, that's what everyone was wearing then, which it kind of was. Well,
kind of.
I don't know, maybe. Well, I am with Chris on this. I absolutely loved this film. I thought it was brilliant. I agree. I would put it really high up there. My only reservation is you do need to know kind of about Star Trek. It doesn't really make sense if you're not down with the characters. I don't think it introduces the characters to a newbie audience very well. But I think it's brilliant, and I think it's also one of the best films about kind of old age and how it deals with Kirk's kind of aging and how he's stuck as an admiral and all this stuff, and he wants to regain his youth. I think all that is really, really well handled, and I think it's even reasonably well acted. And I love
for the most part.
Yeah, for the most part. And I love the Kobayashi Maru concept. Well, yeah. Okay, all right, not that bit of acting. I think the concept of the Kobayashi Maru, I think, is absolutely genius, and that I think just the invention of that alone, and just all the ins and outs of that, I think is really, really well done.
And they've reused that on like 3 films or something, like in the modern films. They've reused that.
Is it not telling though that we've not mentioned like the new characters introduced, David and Savick and stuff? They're kind of the weak.
They are
bit of this film, aren't they?
Well, I think David works very well as a tool for.
He's a tool, all right.
Against Kirk, in that there's that good bit. There's a good line where he says, "I've got a bloke out there trying to kill me, and a son I've never seen who wants me dead as well." Like I think, as a kind of representation of him aging, and like the fact is, we all know him as this space Lothario. Again, it's quite brave to be like, well, look, here's one of your kids pops up who hates you. I think that's kind of, I appreciated that kind of, this is a new take on this character that you haven't seen before.
In a way, I think though that in the way they handle that and the fact that he's like a bad dad, is it shown its age as well, because they don't deal with that nearly enough. The fact that he's left him, and there's that one line, isn't it? Oh, you told me to stay away. Yeah. Well, that doesn't really. Okay, fair enough. Let's move on. And you're going to be the hero, and he's going to like you again. I don't really buy that at all. To be honest, it's a bit. And I understand that's not the film they're making. Is that they're not making Star Trek 13 Kirk family values? I think the whole
Kirk, like the character of Kirk, is you can forgive all of that stuff with his family and his male macho-ness, because he does win in a no-win scenario. He's got that there's there is that thing of it doesn't matter because he manages to turn everything around.
I agree. Completely disagree.
No, I agree with Chris.
Because Picard is that character, but without all the horrible bits of it.
But Picard is like asexual in his like.
No, he's not.
Like, I mean, we don't really see any relationships from him, and but that's like they don't really go there, do they?
Well, because he's not like a womanising piece of shit. Like he's just a fucking awesome leader who keeps that stuff away from his work life.
I'm with Chris. I think this film, because taking this film on its own and ending it that Spock dies. The fact is, Chris is right. He wins within a no-win scenario, but he loses Spock, so he has paid a huge price. And they do say, don't they? You've never faced death before, and now you're actually facing defeat and death. This is the first time Kirk's ever faced losing someone, and I think that is played out well, and I do forgive the character.
In some ways, this is Kirk growing. It actually shows him growing up, isn't it? In this,
definitely. And it's not his fault that the next 2 films do what they do, bring
True,
Spock back and all that. I think extracting this out as just what this is, I think it is.
Even on this one though, like, I don't know if this is getting a bit deep now, but like, Kirk is not actually an active party in Spock going and sacrifice himself.
No, he's not.
Like, that's not Kirk. That isn't Kirk doing anything. It's Spock doing it. Kirk then he has to deal with the circumstance. So it's Spock doing the the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few.
But
that's the arc of it, and then
this
Kirk
shows
is just faced
how
with
they
it.
work as a team, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is
No,
like the
no, but
quintessential team.
Yeah, they're a crew. Yeah, they
I
all have to
suppose,
work
yeah.
together to defeat Khan. It's not just Kirk on his own. It's
the only one who doesn't do his job is Scotty because he's blubbing over the dead kid.
Yeah, that's hilarious. That is.
Yeah,
They're in the sick bay and the kid's dying, and
Yeah.
and Scott is there blubbing, and then it comes over the tannoy that the engines are back online. It's like, well,
Yeah.
Scotty hasn't done that.
Yeah, I did wonder why he has to carry him all the way there. Isn't there any medical facilities down by?
Doesn't he carry him to the bridge first as well?
Yeah, there's
he comes in
It's
the
like
bridge with
walking all
it.
over the ship.
So there's a cut storyline in
right.
that kid is his nephew, is Scotty's nephew,
Right, okay.
Oh, okay.
and when they get introduced in the inspection at the beginning, that was cut from that bit.
Oh. What bagpipe song would he have played for him at the funeral?
That's mental as well.
Yeah.
I love that whole like loading bay thing though. It's completely like this ship is so advanced, but you still have to wait for 2 minutes while this torpedo goes down.
Yeah.
I mean, what happens if you want to shoot two in quick succession?
You can't. Maybe that's a specific funeral. Maybe that's the coffin bay.
Because
Maybe
there is like two holes where they come out, isn't there?
Yeah, plus it's like a setting like respectful or warlike, and you flip that little switch and it slows the bay down.
I don't know, because in another film that we haven't seen yet, we'll see that they're using it at war and it goes the same speed.
Yeah.
I think Savick is a bit rubbish. Isn't she just really there just because Spock's going to die? Isn't that really, I mean, why she was written in? Isn't that kind of the...
Well,
I don't think we'd seen
another.
we hadn't seen another Vulcan at this point, and they're trying to enrich the mythos of that race as well.
Yeah, okay.
I think also it's part of it is that she's young and pretty, isn't it? That's why they want her there.
I love that bit in the lift when you kind of feel some sexual tension between Kirk and her, and then the doors open and Bones is like, "Whoa, I'm waiting for the lift. What's going on?" Like, just starts like just yelling at them like that. And it's even better when you read that the lift didn't even move; they just changed the set in front of the lift. Like, that's even funnier to think they're like sitting in there while they're changing the set out. So, yeah, anyway, she's a bit of a weak link, but you know.
I've just got can I ask a couple of questions from when I thought I was hosting this? I know this is like
it's fine.
I'm ghost hosting.
That's fine.
I was going to ask for all three of the films as we watch them.
Yep.
Who is your most useless member of the crew for this particular film?
Ooh, that's an interesting one.
I think you've got a lot to choose from too, haven't you? Really.
What, the main cast crew, the
main
crew,
the main crew. You know, the main.
Uhura does nothing. She doesn't really do anything.
Just answers the phone a few times. Yeah, that was my choice as well. Yeah, and also really terrible acting from Uhura, which I wasn't expecting.
I don't know if just maybe some of them were just a bit pissed off that they weren't in it enough.
I've always got a problem of her operating a computer with fucking long nails. Do you know what I mean? She's like caressing the buttons, and it's like if that was a proper computer and you had more than 3 buttons to press, love, you wouldn't be able to press them.
Well, no, because you see, to skip forward to number 4, you see how they work the computer in the future. Like Scotty, it's 2 fingers, isn't it?
Yeah.
So perhaps you only got 2 fingers with no nails on. You just go,
or you just go computer.
Oh yeah, I love that
computer.
Bit, that would be in your performance review with Uhura, would it, Chris? You'd be like, well, it's good, but I think you need to sort out your appearance. Don't come to work with those nails, okay?
I'm not sure the nails are regulation.
Yeah, that's for your home time. That's for your away time.
Yeah.
What was your other question, Sam?
My other question was, who was your favourite member of the crew in this film?
Kirk,
yeah. Kirk's great in this. All the way, Kirk, I'd say. What are you saying, Sam?
he just bosses it.
I just hate Kirk. I agree with you. For this film, I do agree with you. I think also this is Shatner's finest performance without a doubt.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You actually buy him as an actor in this, when normally he just looks like a prick who's had too many drinks and sauntering about a bit. But I think he does a really good job in this one, yeah. And also, like, because that character falls into parody so easy, doesn't it? But he doesn't do that at any point in this film, I don't think, do they? You buy everything he says in this film. Even when he's, like, saying silly things, you know.
Yeah, I think
it's early days as well, remember?
Yeah.
It is, but you still had, I think, the original series, there's a lot of, you know, campy nonsense in that, and the character's already got those, and the way he talks, like, there's already been Star Trek parodies at this point, but...
This must have been a departure from what people knew. I'm just trying to put myself in the mindset of people only had the original series.
And the first film.
Yeah, and the first film. Like, but even that was a bit goofy, the first one.
Yeah. No, I think
gosh.
it's such a solid story, and it's like I say, like you say, it's a solid story. It's something different. It's something interesting. It makes complete sense, and it is a very, very, very good villain. And all those things put together, I think everyone stepped their game up a bit, because they were like, well, no, we're actually doing something worth doing. And I think they all, like you said, I think there was a real risk to it. I think they all realised, if we don't get this right, that's it. We're not going to make a third flop. Yeah. You know, this is our kind of franchise on the line. So I think they were all probably trying to bring their A game to keep it going as a whole thing. Yeah.
You know, this is post Empire Strikes Back as well. Oh. And I was reading about the making of the film and stuff. And one of the reasons that the budget was so low for this was because Empire Strikes Back was received terribly. Did you know that? I had no idea about that.
No.
That on its initial release, people like really did not like Empire Strikes Back. Apparently, like it was.
What, reviews or people?
Reviews, I think. But like it's too dark and it's not, you know.
God.
And so they were worried about that tone with this one. But I just was surprised, because I'd always assumed that it was the critical darling from day one, and you know, it was always there.
Yeah.
I think things flip. I mean, I still stick with the episode 1, 2, and 3 trilogy. Long down the route will be better than these ones they're making now.
Well, that's madness.
Yeah, we're not talking about that right now.
Let's chat about this in 20 years.
Yeah. Is there anything? Is there anyone else having anything to weigh in on Khan, or do we want to rate it right now?
I'm all good.
You all good?
He's great.
Yeah, he's great. He is great.
How he delivers his lines is just madness.
And I read that he wasn't really. So he was doing Fantasy Island. He didn't really remember this character. Yeah. But he had to have the tapes all shipped out and watch it again and get back into character. That's
because they wrote it before they even asked him, didn't they? Which seems like a bit
nuts.
Crazy.
Did they
idea.
just think they would recast him then? Is that what they thought?
I suppose so. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, it's mad that they did use him and not just recast it.
Yeah.
Because,
it's such a crazy, like, cool callback, isn't it? If you think this is like 15 years after the episode, if not longer. And it wasn't like a big long arc. It's just like it's one of the better episodes, but it's just such a crazy thing they decide to bring that back. You know,
it feels like quite a modern. Do you know what I mean? Like
totally.
Guardians of the Galaxy. You know, someone's gone, okay, here's all of Marvel. Let's find some obscure characters no one's heard of. But it's almost very modern. You think that's a modern thing to go, right? Let's find some villain from way back. Who have we got? But you I can't even
think of another example like it, really.
No, not when they've pulled out. No, not like this. Back. No.
I was listening to the interview with Tarantino on the Nerdist, and they talk about, because there's been chat about Tarantino wanting to do a Star Trek film, right? And he liked there's a couple of Next Gen episodes which he likes, and he thinks he'd be interested in using the stories of, but he says he really likes Shatner. So.
Okay.
Well, I think hopefully he's 87 now. I think luckily that ship's probably finally sailed.
Is he that old?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Wow. There you go.
Yeah.
Well, let's rate Khan. I think that Sam should go first as the least, like the least happy about it. He's the least on board. What would you say?
Yeah, I'm not unhappy about it.
No, but you're not blown away.
I mean, I would say... I'm still pretty... Remember, it's all on a relative scale for me with Star Trek, because we starting from a place of like 9 out of 10 upwards.
Yeah. True.
So I would put this at number 5.
At number 5? Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's higher than I thought you were going to say.
Below Ghost in the Shell and above The Thing.
Okay. What do you reckon, Chris?
1.
At 1. Number 1. Better than Aliens.
It's better than this stuff that we've got on here, yeah. It's better than Aliens.
I can't agree that it's better than Aliens. I can't.
I mean, Aliens is a different thing. For it it's different boxes, but for the purposes of this podcast, I'm putting it above Aliens. I love Aliens, and it ticks completely different boxes. That ticks my war movie boxes and my Saving Private Ryan and the darkness and different things. This film I watch pretty regularly. I quite like it.
I'd say, I don't know if I think it's better than The Thing, so I'd probably say 6.
Well, it's hugely better than The Thing. The Thing is like homemade in comparison to this.
No,
I don't know. I think they're kind of similar in scope, really, in a way. The Thing is a kind of grounded Khan in the sense of the scale of it.
I guess my problem with this is that if you hadn't seen any Star Trek, I don't know if starting with this you would go. I don't know if you'd be on board. What makes it so good is all my stuff. I'm not obsessive, but I've watched a lot, and all my back stuff with Kirk. Yeah. And then you're just like, oh, this is so great seeing him do this and seeing this other take on this character. Yeah. And without that, I don't know. I would still think it's a cool film.
I think the characters are strong. I think it's a very simple story, and that's why it does work as a film standalone.
But also, that's why it is relying on all that backstory, because it's such a simple story. It works because, like Alex is saying, you've got all that innate knowledge, and that's why it is such a unique film in a way, because it's pulling a trick that obviously 3 and 4 can't pull, and the Next Generation ones didn't because they were so soon after the series. That trick of like, oh, remember these guys? You've got old, we've got old. Let's explore this, but also there's still a badass feeling going on.
The cutting and how they edit and go between the locations, it's just masterfully done.
No, it's very well made.
It's such quality. Yeah. It is a real.
It's a textbook way in how
quality
to
piece.
Like it's a textbook example of like ratcheting a film style, isn't it? Like having the teaser at the start and then just going up from there and up and up and up and up and up and not really like stopping until it pops at the end.
Yeah.
But better than Aliens.
But not better than Aliens, no.
Better than Star Wars: New Hope. Better than RoboCop.
No.
I can't have it. I can't have it below Ghost in the Shell. That is not happening.
Well, how about at 4?
Ghost in the Shell's a better film.
No way.
Ghost in the Shell has so much more to say than Star Trek 2.
Oh, this is hard.
It might do, but it doesn't tell it sufficiently well.
I've seen Ghost in the Shell so many times more than Star Trek 2. Ghost in the Shell is like. Ghost in the Shell is something you've not seen.
We're waiting until
before.
My birthday until we discuss
oh shit again,
Ghost in the Shell.
I don't know, like it's just.
No, it's after April, and then we'll get.
And I can confirm
we'll get the show. Don't
that
worry.
it won't be where it is.
Yeah, but it'll be higher.
Well,
what did you say, Alex? You said 6.
I said 6 under The Thing, but above Starship Troopers. I don't think it's number 1. I'm sorry, Chris.
I'll take 4 because I think if you weigh all 3 of us up, that's probably the fair bit to put it, isn't it? We're all saying it's top 6.
Say 4 then.
So
we're saying 4, Chris.
I'll accept 4 for now. But we're going to watch Ghost in the Shell again, aren't we?
We are going to watch Ghost in the Shell again. Yeah.
We'll reclaim its top. That's
history, mate.
We're putting it in at 4, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, it's in at 4. So there you go. That's the first film of our Star Trek. Yeah, I didn't think there'd be an argument, but guys, there you go.
I knew we'd chat about this one more than the other two, though.
Wrath of Khan is in. Star Trek 2 Wrath of Khan, 1982. It's in at number 4. That's a very high entry. We'll be back with more Star Trek after this short break. Thank you.
Meteorite storm. Scotty, beam us up. Scotty! Scotty!
Don't worry, Captain. It's only a shower.
I don't need a brawler, you wally. Beam us up.
Captain, I haven't got the power.
Try, man, try. Power! More power!
The man's power, man. Uh-oh. Start again.
Well, he certainly hasn't got the power. Good afternoon. But you could have national power and power gen. To register for a prospectus in the generating company's share offers, call 0272-272-272.
And we're back. Welcome to the Science Fiction Rating System. It's 3 Star Trek films. We've done Wrath of Khan. Spock's dead. Khan's dead.
Shit!
Yep, sorry, spoilers. Everyone's dead. No, not everyone isn't dead.
Star Trek without Spock.
Well, exactly. But remember, at the end of Wrath of Khan, when the Genesis was released on the planet, Spock's body was somehow released and hit there anyway, and we saw the coffin, so That's how we start Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock, 1984, directed by Leonard Nimoy, who also made Three Men and a Baby, let's not forget.
Yeah.
And written by Harve Bennett, he's kind of involved in all these films, really, isn't he?
He's kind of the. My understanding is he's the reason that these are good, or
he's the
not
glue.
good but exist. Yes.
He's the kind of he's in amongst all of these. He's got his hands in all of them. So. Who wants to start? Shall I start on this one? I'll start.
Can I start this time?
Oh, sorry. Okay, Sam.
Just because I've got something to say about the very start of the film.
No,
right?
go for it. Go for
Because bearing in mind that this film is taking place directly after Star Trek 2, correct?
Yep.
How much time's passed between those two films? Probably like minutes.
They're on the ship going back, aren't they, with the crew?
Yeah.
They're still
It's pretty
driving
much continuous.
Pretty much
isn't it?
continuous.
Yeah.
Scotty has put about 20 pounds on in those few minutes.
He's eating away his tears. He's eating away his sadness.
Watching them so quickly back to back like this, it starts, and I was quite impressed. Thinking, actually, Kirk looks pretty much the same, and all the same.
Yeah.
And you cut to Scotty, and he's fucking ballooning. He's already put on a lot of weight between 1 and 2, but oh my god,
Because he gets promoted.
Yeah, he spent that paycheck on cake, obviously.
I think he ate
or
that
haggis.
He ate that child while he was waiting.
Well,
you can start now.
Well, no, I was just. I mean, it's a very odd opening because it's basically just a giant recap of the last film, which you don't normally get in films. It's a
I
bit
love
weird.
the opening.
You like the opening?
I think it works better when you see him further apart, obviously, but it's something about the way it zooms. Is it zooming out? It's the way, isn't it?
Yeah, it's that weird little box. Yeah.
I don't know.
What
What I don't like about it is all the footage is the camera footage.
Yeah,
in the first
it's
yeah.
supposed to be the security
When they show the
camera.
explosion and stuff.
I mean, really?
Yeah,
Do you think when they were doing the first, when they were doing Wrath of Khan, they didn't have this one written, right?
No, not at all.
No.
You think though they would literally they've got the set,
Yeah,
they've got the uniforms. Just stick a camera in the corner and make it look like some sort of security camera.
And that's so funny, isn't it? And it
Not
gets
only that, but they've got a blank check pretty much for this film.
Yeah.
And it's even more stupid when you get to the next one and they're showing it in a court of law as like, this is the footage from inside the ship.
Yeah.
It's
No,
all
That's the
perfectly
footage
edited
from
together.
owned by Paramount.
Yeah.
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 There's that little Federation drone that was following around doing
Yeah.
cinematic shots of the battles and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I'll go first. The thing I respect about these three films is they have kind of one story and they do follow that story through, within these three films. And I respect that. I think it's interesting. I think it works well. Maybe more trilogies should do that. I don't know. And I think kind of the good thing about Search for Spock is it kind of what you get is you get all the crew and they've all got a bit of time on screen and you kind of it's a romp. It's a good little romp. They're a bit down at the beginning and then they steal the ship and then they're off to get him and it's got a nice feel to it with having them all back together again. And everyone gets I think everyone gets more weight in this than they probably did in Wrath of Khan, which was really more about Spock and Kirk, especially McCoy is like probably my favourite, and he's got some really good bits in it. I think he does that whole him moulded with Spock is quite funny. It's quite funny. It's quite well done. I think he does it well. Where I think it misses is Commander Krug, played by the legendary Christopher Lloyd. He just isn't a very good baddie. He doesn't seem to have any real motivation. He doesn't really. He's not on screen enough, and it feels a little bit like they just wanted a baddie, and they couldn't really be bothered to do much with it. I don't know. So it's a weird film. I think it's a weird film because I think it's partly good, but it's partly a bit crap, isn't it? That's my take. But what do you reckon, Sam?
My take is there's one genuinely great thing about this film, and that is the Klingon bird of prey.
That is amazing. Yeah, that is.
Well, everything Klingon in that film was invented for this film. So
the
the
ship
way
design
we
is
see
fantastic.
Klingons.
Yeah, and it's just a brilliant design, isn't it?
Yeah.
When it comes out of cloak, every time you just shiver and think, "Oh my god, this looks like me."
But also the dark and dinginess of the bridge.
Yeah, I'm listening to that.
Creature.
Yeah.
I'm listening to that. It looks like a set of a fucking Muppets film. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm listening to that nonsense.
The dog. Do you like the dog? I like
No,
the
the
dog.
dog's shit.
dog?
Oh, I like the dog. I like the dog.
But yeah, I love the design of that ship. The rest of it, so boring.
The Klingon bird of prey is a classic design.
Oh, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
But yeah, the film's boring. The story is nonsensical, and it's just bollocks. The idea of this like fast aging Spock, who happily ages to the exact point of where Spock was in the previous film. Good work. David having to carry a bit of the story on his own, despite having zero charisma, and also put on a lot of pounds. Yeah. I guess he's the Genesis thing has taken its effect on him, maybe, and make him evolve in some way.
I don't know if he pissed someone off, because that is a pretty rubbish off-screen death, isn't it?
Totally, yeah.
I mean, he's just in a corner, and they're like, and you don't even see his face.
No, they don't show it.
Nothing. No, yeah. I didn't think I couldn't remember this film. I was like, oh, he's not dead.
Yeah, when I watched it back, I thought, because I have the scene after when Kirk's like, that was my son, you killed my son, about 8 times. I thought he wasn't dead, and it was like he's putting this on for the Klingons.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, no, he really is dead, and this is the worst thing. And also kind of ruins the idea of the the needs of the many and the needs of the few thing. Like, I know, like he's like stealing Spock shit here, but now he's just basically got his son killed.
Yeah.
And like the way they reverse that in the next film is by saying, "Oh, we're going to fuck off everyone on Earth and go. We're going to get Spock. We're going to get Spock back. That's the key thing. He's the few." And I don't think they really explain. He's basically going against the whole idea of that film, isn't he?
And they kind of try and make it that David's a bit of a bastard because he fucked with the, he cut corners, didn't he, in making Genesis, and it was a bit, so they try and make it, actually Genesis, David's a bit of a wanker. He cut corners. He's made a bad thing.
It's just one of them expendable characters you get in Star Trek. You just have to embrace it. It's like a red shirt or whatever they call them.
But he's not, because he's Kirk's son.
Yeah, I know, but
and he must have a core to this film to himself, mustn't he? He's like on the film quite a lot.
Yeah.
I say one more thing. I say actually a good thing.
Okay.
I think
I'm writing down all the points you're making.
I think Sarek is really good in it. I love Sarek anyway. I think he always is well, but I think his role in it is fantastic. Other than that, Dyer, I would say this is the third worst Star Trek film.
Ooh. Okay, Chris, over to you.
I like the opening. I like the bit where they kind of, have to move on. They think, they haven't got the Enterprise, and the best scene in it is stealing the Enterprise. That is the best sequence, one of the best sequences in all of Star Trek, I think.
Ooh.
That is so well done.
Do you not think, though, may I just counter with this, Chris?
Go on.
Do you not think that scene is a little bit like, what you've said in previous episodes, where you hate it when things in the future and everyone's all like acting like they're with the SAS talk and acting like they're on Earth and all that. Do you not think that scene is a bit of a precursor to the whole of the voyage home? In that it's a bit like a kind of a caper, like a heist movie thing, which is not really very Star Trek.
Do you also not think that the idea that like 6 people could fly that ship
can steal the equivalent of like an aircraft carrier,
and really it's only Sulu and Chekhov who are actually driving it anyway.
Yeah, but
it's all automated though.
Scotty's automated it all though.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's a miracle worker.
He is. It would be better if it just like backed into the doors and it didn't open.
Well, he's like, actually, I can't get it going. Yeah, it just it starts and then just.
Can we turn around and shoot a torpedo at it?
Which is it this film where they blow it up? It's like listing slightly on a weird angle. Because we've just like listed slowly out of the dock, just like bouncing off all the walls as it goes.
Yeah, kind of like in Starship Troopers when they're coming out of the.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No, I quite like that sequence, and also I like it because they've got that newer ship, which is just shit.
Oh, the Excelsior, yeah.
The Excelsior.
That's my favourite ship as well. That one.
Is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah. So after that, I just think it loses its pace. When they're just walking around the planet and the kid's getting older, that's just boring.
Yeah.
The Klingon stuff, as you say, the designs and everything is so well done because they really that's what they did for this film. This is the only thing this film's got going for it, is they invented what Klingons were.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And introduced them to us. The aging thing is a bit, I know what you're saying. Why is he aged to the exact age as when he... But you could say, well, that's what his body landed on the planet as, and the planet thought about it.
But just even the whole idea of it. Fair enough.
It.
Wow. But just even the whole idea of it is, is just lame, I think. You know,
The whole sort of mind melding and Vulcan mythology and Sarek, I think, is quite cool.
Oh yeah, I like all that.
Again, because they're layering that on because we never knew anything about that before this.
We had a bit of that
you did.
motion
Mind
picture.
melding. Yeah, and it's in the first. It's the first series.
Yeah.
Mind melding. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And David, throwaway character, useless.
And New Savick.
It's like we haven't actually put any emphasis on him. So when he does get stabbed, it really is like Shatner has to go to them lengths to make us feel anything.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Did you know that President Ronald Reagan screened the film to his friends during a weekend away from the White House in '84? Spent with White House staff chief Mike Denver and the president's own close friend, Senator Paul Laxalt. Reagan wrote of the film, "It wasn't too good." There you go. So Ronald Reagan doesn't like it much either.
Well, there you go.
And also, I couldn't find. I wanted to find this, but a poster advertising the London Underground featured a congested road in front of a cinema screening this movie. The poster caption read, "By the time he finds a parking spot, they would have found him." How good's that? I would like. Why
Again,
don't they...
that's a very Voyage Home sort of poster, isn't it?
Well, yeah, there you go. But that's, well, I don't know where maybe in the Transport Museum they've got a copy of that poster somewhere. But
yeah.
So we're all not greatly. We don't all love Search for Spock.
No,
I like the opening bit. I mean, I'm loving the opening because it's all like what do I call it? You know, where it's just spaceships going into docks and coming out of docks and people looking at the spaceships and all that sort of stuff. I like that stuff.
Yeah. I think as well, like, the direction of it, like Nimoy doesn't really do anything, does he? Like,
no.
I was looking for his hand on it in the way, like, in Maya and Khan, you've clearly got a sense of what that guy's about.
Oh, yeah.
He's just letting the camera roll, isn't he, Nimoy?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, there's no great pieces of direction. In fact, there's some really stupid stuff, like when Kirk kicks Krug off and he's like, "I've had enough of you," which is, I mean, I think sadly, Sam, you are right in that everything that's great about Wrath of Khan, it does set up these things that then are very obvious within Search for Spock and then get even worse within Voyage Home. It's this kind of...
Well, you say worse.
Well,
we'll get to that.
We'll get to that.
He does do beat a no-win scenario again, though, doesn't he? Because he blows the ship up with
that's
the
pretty
minute,
funny. Yeah, that is pretty funny.
And then they end up with the bird of prey.
Yeah. It also, the other thing I read was when the crew is standing on the bluff, supposedly watching the flaming Enterprise Hulk, they were in fact watching a tennis ball mounted on an overhead boom microphone. The shot had to be taken many times because not everyone was watching it at the same time. Oh yeah, and the other bit I read was that that's it. According to Robin Curtis, Christopher Lloyd didn't understand the communicators. He would often shout his lines in the air rather than speak in the communicator. He would so basically had to keep being told not to yell at the sky because he didn't understand that they had to have communicators.
Brilliant.
If only that was in it, I'd like to see him just yelling at the clouds, thinking they could hear him. That would have been better.
You know the bit when they do go over and they blow up the Enterprise, which is quite cool. I thought they could have telegraphed a bit more the idea that the Klingons didn't know the numbers. Because the fact that obviously we could hear... But
it doesn't make any sense, this at all, though, does it?
Because the fact that we're hearing them speak in English, and I get that's because we're really hearing them speak Klingon.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like, that only works to the point that you show them listening to English themselves, and you're like, oh, hang on, this doesn't... What's going on here?
No. Yeah. They're just not very thought... Like, I completely agree. All the design is amazing. All that stuff they create is brilliant. But they're as baddies. They're just not very well thought through.
I probably would have kept them speaking Klingon. And then only had the captain speak English when he's on the planet at the end.
Yeah.
Or talking
or on the communicator.
Like, because he's the only educated one.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
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 That's a hallmark of a lot of sci-fi films from here, isn't it? Like, they'll do a little bit of dialogue to show they're speaking something different, and they'll switch to speaking English.
Yeah.
They get bored of it.
I'll ask Sam's questions then. Who was everyone's favourite crew member within Star Trek Search for Spock, and who was the worst?
For me, it's got to be Bones is my favourite.
Yeah, I would agree there. Yeah.
Because like he looks less and less interested in actually being there, but also given an actual like proper role to do in this one, and he's still wearing stupid clothes. So I'm all for Bones.
I like the bit in the bar where he's like,
"Oh yeah, that guy."
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, that kind of goth Yoda. Yeah, he's quite good. Yeah.
And when he's inspecting when they call the Klingon bird of prey, the HMS Bounty, whatever. Oh, that's the next one. Sorry, it's the next one. That's the next film.
Yeah,
Sorry.
the next one.
Yeah.
Who's your favourite crew member then, Chris?
I'm just thinking. I think it might be Scotty. Because he hotwired the Enterprise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He completely mugged off the other captain and the Excelsior and all that.
Yep.
If it wasn't for him, they'd still be stuck in the dark.
That's true. No, he's probably the most useless. Yeah, who's the most useless? It's probably Spock, isn't it? Because he's
just a kid in it.
Yeah.
So.
I think it's still Uhura.
What? No,
Oh yeah, because she's there with that. That's a good little scene.
The Mr. Adventure bit. That's great. Yeah. No. She's on Vulcan, making sure everything's okay. No, she's not useless.
They completely cut her out of the film. They wouldn't be allowed now.
Think how many fucking millions Nichelle Nichols made off these films, and she could have filmed all the bits in all 3 films in a day.
Probably. We'll never know. Yeah, probably. Well, where are we going to put this then? Where does Search for Spock go? The heady heights of Wrath of Khan, sitting there at number 4.
Do you think it's better than motion picture or not?
No,
I don't think it is.
Especially, I think I would have done until we watched motion picture quite recently, and I was surprised how much I didn't hate that as much as I thought I would.
Motion picture.
See, I find motion picture really weird and mental. And
totally
slow.
Yeah, but there's something to it, isn't there?
Yeah.
I don't know. There's something to motion picture. It's got something. I don't know what it is. I don't know.
I think I prefer this one to motion picture just slightly.
No.
Who's going first?
I'll go first. I think it should be below Collective Invention and above Inner Space. So that's 43, I think that is.
Yeah, 43. 44, sorry, 44.
44, that's what I say. Anyone want to counter offer?
I think that's too high.
Oof.
But not by much. No, actually, I'd say 45 below Inner Space. I'd rather watch Inner Space again. Actually, no, maybe I wouldn't.
No, Inner Space.
No, I'll say I'll agree with you. 44 sounds alright, actually. That little KFC guy in the back of that car at the end of Inner Space just flashed up in my brain. Then I was like, no.
I'd say probably just. I'd say one above the motion picture.
No,
just one.
It's not that good.
Because it is better than Phantom Menace, and it is better than. I think the motion picture there is not down as it doesn't work structurally as a film. It doesn't keep me entertained at all.
I was more entertained watching that than I was this.
Okay.
You could drift off for an hour in the middle of this and come back to it, and you'd be like, okay, fine, we're still on the planet.
I like the other little ship in this as well, the Grissom, the one that gets blown up.
Yeah.
Okay then, so I'll go for
bit lower than that, Chris. Come on.
What about above Hunger Games? Below
above Hunger Games, I'd take. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's go with that then. That's fine. Yeah.
Because it's better than Real Steel.
Because the Rocketeer's horse shit as well.
So what number's that?
That is number 40.
So number 40. So Star Trek 3, Search for Spock, coming in at number 40.
The Search for a Plot, more like, eh?
Yeah. Very good. Very good. We've got one more Star Trek film to go. It's The Voyage Home, and it's coming up after these messages.
Hi, I'm Chris, and this is Anna with MCI. She recently started a great friends and family calling circle.
A group of friends that wanted to get back in touch.
I believe I actually said we should resume communicating.
So Anna called, and I signed it.
And Chris called me. I thought if anybody belongs in friends and family, it's us.
I used to get tired of staring at those faces. Now I kind of miss them.
I joined to save the 20% because when I call him, I end up talking to an answering machine, which is more interesting than he is.
I'm usually home. I'm just selective about the calls I take. When they were forming the circle, they obviously saved the best for last. Oh, that's why she called me next.
Who is that?
How did you get it? There seems to be some error. I believe you were in the wrong circle.
Call and start saving an extra 20% on calls to your own friends and family circle.
Every week, thousands of people join the millions who already have MCI friends and family. If you'd like to be one of them, give us a ring. After all, shouldn't your least expensive calls be to the people you care about?
And we're back with Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home, 1986, also directed by Leonard Nimoy. A story by Leonard Nimoy, but again, it seems like there were a lot of people working on this. Two blokes that worked on it did Double Impact, which is a bit weird.
Two blokes.
Yeah, two blokes. Two of the writers wrote Double Impact. Good film. In fact, actually, I'll tell you how it was written. Harve Bennett wrote the beginning and the ending of the script. Nicholas Meyer wrote the middle scenes that take place in San Francisco. Steve Mearson and Peter Cricks wrote the original screenplay. While most of their ideas were deleted, they still receive credit. There you go. That's how it breaks down. I had that written down. There you go. So we're voyaging home. We've saved Spock. We've got him back in his head and all that. And we're voyaging home. But there's problems on the way home. There's a probe. And the probe is doing horrible things to everyone.
Not least making the worst sound effect noise in the history of cinema. Like, how annoying is that?
Do you know the story about the wub 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 thing? Do you know that?
No.
It's Leonard Nimoy.
It is. Yeah. When they were doing the sound effects, they said Nimoy just kept saying no, and the bloke just went, "Well, you do something then." And Nimoy went, "Wub wub 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 wub," and they went, "Well, we'll do that then." That's pretty much what I read on Wikipedia. Is what it said. Pretty much what happened.
There's a behind the scenes of him actually explaining that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway, there's a probe. It's destroying everything. And how do we fix it? Time traveling whales. That's how we fix it. Not the country, the big things. Who hasn't gone first? Well, Sam kind of went first. Do you want to go first again?
Yeah.
Go for it. Voyage home.
So, in my mind, this is the best Star Trek film, right? In my mind, I'm like, this is hilarious. You know, we're going to get some, like, bits of, like, Scotty on an Apple Mac. And, and like, Kirk's going to the aquarium. And, you know, Chekhov's going to get shot at by the army and things.
The nuclear Wessels.
Sorry, Wessels, yeah.
Wessels.
And then I watched it, and I don't know if it's because I watched all three in a row. I was like, this is awful.
It's loony,
in a way
isn't
that
it?
makes me, like, sort of doubt my whole life, because, like, I have quite... You know, people have been quite harsh at this, and I've always defended 4, going, I fucking love 4. And I watched it not too long ago. I got the Blu-rays, that couldn't be that long ago, and watched it and thought, yeah, it's great. And I watched it this time, and I just thought, like, really, like, none of the jokes really land. Although I still think that Scotty going to get the aluminium is comedy gold. And really,
that's great.
Scotty has won the best memory crew just for his using the computer and stuff. That's brilliant. But yeah, like, a lot of the rest of it, I don't know, kind of nothing happens. And I don't know, I read about Nimoy wanting to make a film with no villain, but you know, this kind of proves why you don't make films with no villains.
Yeah.
Because there's no stakes and nothing's really happening.
I think my problem with it was there were several scenes where I just felt like, this is a Star Trek film, why am I watching this? Why am I watching a wacky chase through a hospital? You know, like, why am I watching him having pizza? Like, with her, like, there's a lot of, like, what's the other one? Oh, it's the other, I just kept writing down, why am I watching this? When they're talking about, when Gillian and Bob are having a chat about whales being pregnant. And why has Gillian got a photographic memory? Why do they point that out?
And why she explained
say it again.
Yeah,
why? Why is that important? They never reference it.
Because you have to explain how she knows the frequency of the whale right at the end.
You think it's just one number. She could have looked it up. It doesn't need to have an eidetic memory because just for that one fact, surely. I mean,
also the bit of Spock in the fish tank, and Shatner trying to do those awful, like, gurning looks, which is, you know,
Shatner pulling moves on women is not what you want to see on the big screen.
No, but it's what he wanted to see, isn't it? As I said, I think that's why we get Gillian, who I hate. I hate Gillian. She's a whinging. She's just so annoying, wasn't she?
She's in the future now, so it's not a problem.
She's terrible.
Oh, thank God. Also, I had a bit of a problem with the message, because the message is obviously like, oh, it's so terrible, you know, it's so bad what we're doing. But it isn't that bad, because you can just time warp, go back and get whatever you want, and then have it back in the future, can't you?
Also, like, if that's the way things go, right? Say that they get the message out, and people start realising, oh, we can't kill the whales or whatever. That future, Kirk wouldn't exist, would he? Because then nothing would have happened the way it did happen.
No. Yeah. No, there's a lot of
No,
there's
you
a
can't
lot
get
of
into today's time paradoxes.
It's almost like time travel is complete and utter horseshit and has no
There's
place.
more time travel in Star Trek than people think there is. It's in most episodes.
Well, once you get what's his name, Brannon Braga on board in Next Gen, he fucking loves the time paradox. There's loads of that going on.
I did read, it is widely thought that Kirk was the biggest offender in breaking Starfleet's temporal laws. That honour should go to Chekhov. Before escaping the naval officers, he throws his phaser at them. He leaves his communicator and Starfleet ID badge, all of which could be retrieved. And then it's like Terminator, isn't it? They could just be like, "Wow, look, it's technology." That's
Before
it.
you know it, the US military have got phasers.
Yeah.
Also, you know the way like he's saying,
Klingon phasers.
you know how he's saying Wessel, right?
Yeah.
And no one understands him. And her stood next to him, like going, "Oh well, you know what's the problem?" But surely in the future they still know he's mispronouncing the word vessel, don't they?
Well,
they don't all say Wessel, so surely she could just go, "Oh, he means vessel." By the way, he means vessel.
But why
not
did
Wessel.
they? Don't they have huge computer banks full of knowledge? Why didn't they maybe look up what might be appropriate or inappropriate? Like,
yeah, I don't know.
Like, as in a Russian going on an American ship.
Yeah, they don't know that. But then, like, doesn't Shatner like name 2 books that no one's heard of now and goes, "Oh, they're future classics" or whatever?
Yeah,
it's all over the place.
Yeah. It's just a big mess. But I think, as I said to Chris before, from in 3, I think really it's what they thought was, oh, everyone loves the crew having a romp and having fun. Let's just have a big comedy romp. That's
this must have been well cheap to make.
Yeah.
It was just the one wandering around in their uniforms.
Yeah, pretty much, isn't it?
It cost $5 million more than Star Trek 3.
No. That went to Shatner.
Wages, wasn't it? Yeah, wages, without a doubt.
Because my other problem with it was, I get that they have, I appreciate it's 3 films that all link up, and I get that the crew have to redeem themselves because they are in deep doo-doo at this point with what they've done. So really, you've got a beginning which is the crew are in deep doo-doo and they need to get back to Earth and they need to be redeemed, and the end is the crew are redeemed and they get an Enterprise and it's all good. But what happens in the middle could have been anything. There's a million other scenarios that could have led to the Enterprise crew being seen as heroes and all their charges being dropped. Why pick this scenario? It didn't... I just didn't really get why this was the best idea anyone had. There must have been much better ideas, I would have thought.
Well, do you know about Nimoy's original... Basically, Leonard Nimoy loved Beverly Hills Cop. Right?
Okay.
And so he asked the guy who wrote that to write this.
Yeah.
And he said, "No, you're making a Star Trek film, fuck off." But then Eddie Murphy was a Star Trek fan, so he said, "Yeah, I want to be in that. I'll be in your film."
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Nimoy said, "Well, no, Eddie Murphy, people would think we're being too silly if we put you in." And so then it ended up how it went.
So Eddie Murphy would have been Gillian then? Or
I think it's before they got that far. I think all Nimoy knew, he wanted to make a Beverly Hills Cop style Star Trek film. That's as far as he got at that point. Yeah.
Oh my god. So quite a lot of swearing and racism, kind of challenging racism within the Star Trek universe.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, that would have been worse, I guess.
Who knows?
Yeah, would it? I mean, I don't know. Would it have been worse?
Also, sorry, one thing about Shatner as well. I just read up the thing before. It isn't that he wouldn't make 5 without directing it. It's that he wouldn't make 4 without being given 5 to direct.
Oh.
And he got $2 million for it.
What a bastard.
Oof.
Yeah. And also, he had the last round of rewrites on the script.
Okay.
Right.
Well.
Actors gone wild.
Yeah, totally.
Damn it. So what's your take then, Chris, generally? Do you like it?
I think it's a bit of fun. I mean, there's a lot of episodes along these lines as well.
Mm.
There's a lot of the TV episode. The whole probe thing is very similar to 1, isn't it?
Yeah,
very
I guess.
Similar to the motion picture.
Yeah.
They've kind of just regurgitated that idea, which is kind of what they do in movies now. There's a lot of things that didn't work. So they're on a Klingon ship, and they know how to use everything.
Yeah.
All the records of details of a whale is on a Klingon ship.
For some reason, yes.
Yeah. Lots of very specific Earth information is on a Klingon ship.
Mm.
What else? Yeah, it just doesn't work.
I like the way that they don't get to tell the Federation what their plan is because it breaks up. So technically, all that happens is the Federation get a garbled message, and then suddenly a Klingon warbird smashed into the sea, and the whales appear, and then it's all over. They must just be like, "Oh, what?"
And Kirk's like, "I saved the world again," and they go, "No, you didn't. You just crashed into the sea."
Yeah, with some whales. We don't know what's going on. Yeah, I like that. That was fun.
That'd be good actually if they all got demoted because they actually all got busted because no one actually believes they did go back.
Yeah. Just joyriding a bird of prey under the San Francisco Bridge.
I like the bit where they get in the way of the whaler. The harpoon gun.
Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah.
They changed the set, haven't they, from the film? The bridge.
Yeah,
the bridge is completely different.
Yeah, that's a bit odd, wasn't it?
Actually, what? Also, at the end of the film when they land. It leaves such a they're splashing around in the water and laughing for about 50 minutes while they all jump in the water.
Mental.
That kind of sours a lot of the earlier bit of the film for me, I think.
Yeah,
it's like the end of a Murder She Wrote or something.
It's weird.
The
it's really weird. Yeah,
I've been to the water bit where they filmed that in Hollywood, the water tank.
I've been to the aquarium in San Francisco.
Oh,
and I've been to the corner when they do when they're when he talks about the vessels, he talks about the police officers. He talks to the police officer. Check office.
There's a bit in that which is completely. It was a real person. Yeah, a woman walks up and he goes, "We're looking for the nuclear vessels," and she goes, "You want to go to Alameda?"
Yeah,
she was just a woman.
Oh
wow! They literally just filmed him asking randoms, and she had to get a SAG membership because they wanted to include it. So they had to get her into SAG.
Ridiculous.
Do you want a quiz question?
Yes.
I knew you'd like this, Chris. Right. So early in the film, the President of the Federation tells the Klingon ambassador Kirk is charged with 9 violations of Starfleet regulations. Can you name the regulations? Can you name name the charges?
What, all 9?
Yeah. Or just get near to...
Stealing a starship?
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Mutiny.
Destruction of a starship?
Yes, destruction. One count of destruction of the Enterprise. That's definitely one. You've got one there. That's bang on.
Disobeying orders?
Disobeying a direct order. Yep, that's one. Actually, theft of Federation property. Yeah, that's one. Yep.
Yeah. I've got 3 then.
Yeah, you've got 3. There's 9 charges. This is a bit of a trick. This is a trick question, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Why the rest of them is charged 5 to 9 being Kirk?
Man, there might be some that are multiples because of multiple. Yeah, maybe. Keep guessing.
Bringing Spock back from the dead. Necromancy.
No, I guess that's still disobeying, isn't it? Really. What did Scotty do that you thought was really good? In the previous one, you cited him good because he did something.
Oh, he sabotaged another starship.
Yes, sabotage. Yes, sabotage. Yeah. Okay, so you got 2 more, which are actual multiple charges.
Speeding in a Starfleet base.
Well, okay.
Yeah, he was going full impulse in the dock. You're only supposed to go
can't do that. Impulse.
There are 2 charges of theft. Because. The theft of Enterprise is one charge, but it's conceivable that a second theft could be added because of...
was it the bird of prey? Because that was property of the Federation.
I don't remember him saying all this in the film. It wasn't.
No. This is someone's work.
Second charge.
No,
you're just reading up some geeks.
No, there are only... He reads out 6, but how does it make it 9? This is what this person's done.
Okay. It's a speculation.
Basically, there's 3 charges of one thing. What is it?
Bestiality.
No.
Is it
rape?
No.
Or is it like a messing with the timeline?
No, you're in the right ballpark with rape in a weird way.
What?
Assault.
Yes, on who?
So is it the transporter guy who gets locked in the cupboard?
It's 3 counts. Technically, the way it makes 9 is there are 3 counts of assault on a Federation officer.
So it's the transporter guy.
Yep.
Gets locked in the cupboard.
Yep. There are 2 guards outside McCoy's
cell.
Sulu duffs up a guy, doesn't he?
And Uhura forces Mr. Adventure. Yeah, Mr. Adventure gets forced into gunpoint into a closet. So that's how you make 9. There you go.
Brilliant, excellent.
Thought you'd like that.
They also broke into a prison.
Yeah, they don't really put that. I guess that's.
Can I just add here that so I get it on record? If we ever get famous people make us do it, I want us all to wear Sulu jackets.
I love that jacket.
Those leather jackets with the cut out arms.
So yeah. I was going to say, I missed it on the last film, but you should look at the outfit that Chekhov's wearing when they nick the Enterprise.
Yeah, classic.
It's a baby grow.
Yeah.
I'd have to say
baby grow.
Sulu's my favourite crew member in this one.
In this one?
Yeah, I'd say he's not the most useful, but he's my favourite. I love Sulu. I like him. I like him when he's just flying that helicopter, when he beats up that guy.
He's kind of in a different film to the rest of them, isn't he?
Yeah, a bit, but
like loafing about, like looking like very like fabulous and
that's what
around
like.
everywhere.
That's what I like about him. Just beating people up, looking great, flying a helicopter. Yeah, that's why I like him.
He sort of checked out, hadn't he, after 2 and just thought, fuck it, I'm going to turn up. I'm a mince.
Yeah, I reckon that's probably it.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
Who's your best then? Who's your best crew members?
Mine's Scotty again.
Mine's Scotty, this one, without doubt, in this film.
Because he's doing all the functional stuff.
Yeah.
And be really cool about it and suave.
And he invented transparent aluminium.
Yeah. By just opening the same 3 windows over and over again on a computer.
Which we have to say, unfortunately, because of the issues, we have to say that is a real thing, because people might not know that that's a real thing. There was big controversy on the last podcast.
I'm wondering whether it's got anything to do with aluminium. And they just call it that because it's a Trekkie who invented it.
Maybe.
Do you know what I mean?
I'm going to drop that clip in here again.
I don't think it is aluminium like on the periodic table. I just think it's like a plastic.
Maybe. Let's not go into that. Let's not go into that again.
I like how he can't use a computer though, but then he just has to click his knuckles, and then he's like.
Yeah. Who's the worst then? Who's the most useless?
Uhura wouldn't be able to do that because her nails are too long.
Oh, she's the worst again. What does she actually do? Walks around with Chekhov for a bit.
She uses like the future Pro Tools she speeds up the whale song, and that's quite a good little sequence where it goes like.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, who is
she's there with like.
Actually, I think Bones is my most useless one.
Yeah, probably.
Because what does Bones do in this film?
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. No, he doesn't.
He just
I like the bit where he's in the hospital and he's like giving them all a medical lesson.
Do you want to know something funny about the hospital bit?
It's a real hospital and it's a real operation.
Well, no, it's basically like no. So okay, in Star Trek, it's Search for Spock. McCoy says he would feel safer giving Spock one of his kidneys than carrying around Spock's soul in his own mind. But in the voyage home, he gives a woman in a hospital a pill that grows a new kidney in her. So basically, it's not really a big loss if he'd given a kidney to Spock. Because there's a pill that grows one back. So that actually makes that line a pretty shitty thing to say about someone.
He's got loads of them. He's got kidneys out the arse.
You can have a kidney in 2 seconds by taking a pill. So there you go. Bit of a weird bit of clever writing that they probably didn't even realise they'd done.
Don't you think it's like, at the end where they get their new Enterprise?
Oh, I like when the theme kicks in then. That's pretty good.
But then they go on this brand new white spangly set. And it's like they've built that set just for that one shot.
Also...
and they've also locked themselves in to what the next film will be.
But also, you've got this brand new brilliant ship, and by the end of that 3rd film, they all look really, really fucking old, don't they? And you think there's no way in a million years they'd be putting anywhere near this ship. They'd be like, thanks for saving us. This really, genuinely, this is retirement now, Kirk. You've got to go. Scotty can barely fit in the fucking turbo lift.
Yeah, it doesn't really explain how they're allowed to carry on. No,
we've got that to look forward to in the fantastic film Star Trek V.
Well, yeah, we do. We are going to be doing that, aren't we?
Not for a while, hopefully.
Well, in the meantime, should we rank Voyage Home? Where's it going to go? Is it going to hit the heady heights of Khan, or is it going to sink down the bay in San Francisco where Search for Spock lives? Who goes first? Chris goes first.
No, you don't.
No, I did Search for Spock.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Chris goes first.
I forgot. Sorry, I forgot what we were doing then.
We're doing a podcast.
I would put this. I still think it's better than Inner Space, Flash Gordon, and all them sort of things.
Is it better than Search for Spock, which is currently at number 40?
Yeah, and marginally, I found it more entertaining.
It's definitely better than Search for Spock.
Yeah, maybe like it should be around District 9 sort of area. 31.
31. So it's above District 9, below Pacific Rim.
I'd probably just put it one place above the motion picture.
Some good gags in it. Some excellent gags in it.
One above motion picture.
Yeah. Because it hangs together well as a film. I mean, it is what it is. Motion picture was a bit of a mess. This goes.
I'd accept that.
I think I'd put it a bit higher. I think I'd put it one below the Faculty. I think above Rise of the Planet of the Apes, below Faculty.
Yeah.
If only because
okay.
Rise of the Planet of the Apes is also depicting San Francisco, but not in as fun a manner.
No, I guess. No, okay, I'm fine with that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
34.
Oh, so that's it. So that's 3 Star Trek films have joined the list. Sam, would you be able to tell us where they all sit?
I would. So, at number 41 is Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock. At number 34 is Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home. And at number 4, our first high-up film for a while, I think.
Hell yeah.
That is Star Trek 2, Wrath of Khan.
There you go. Thank you for listening, everyone. I guess.
Thanks for hosting, Alex.
That's okay.
Really good.
That's good. You can email us if you're a Trekkie. You hate what we've said. If you believe that we're wrong in every sense, you can email us at sciencefictionratingsystem@gmail.com. That's the one that works, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
Good.
Really hate us, you can just go really fast towards the sun and then round the sun and then kill us when we're babies.
Yeah,
it's true. You can. You can. You can find us at sciencefictionratingsystem.com, on Twitter at sfratingsystem, Instagram at sciencefictionratingsystem, and on Facebook at sfratingsystem. Next week's a bit different. We've got a weird bit of a takeover, isn't it, Sam? On next week's show.
Yeah.
First time we've had this, really. So someone else is going to be telling us what we're watching. So
a legitimate proper film director. Not that Chris isn't, but like another legitimate proper film. Sorry. Whoops. I meant a film director who's not on the podcast. That's what I meant.
Okay. Let's get out of this before things turn sour. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Chris Redding. Thank you.
Cheerio.
And thank you very much, Sam Draper. I've been Alex Humphrey, and this is us gone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Prosper.